Welcome to the second training session, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say sorry on behalf of our team for the technical difficulties we had yesterday. Some delegates informed us that they couldn't attend the Zoom meeting because of the participant limit. Those delegates can watch the screen recorded version through the link that was sent to the committee WhatsApp groups. And I hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience for you. Anyway, to return to what we're doing today, as you remember yesterday, our SG, Fatma Zehra Okumuş, went over some terms regarding MUN and also the flow of debate. Today, she'll be informing you on the path to draft resolution and the rules of procedure, and also the voting procedure as well. Again, if you have any questions during the presentation, don't hesitate to ask us. You can ask questions via the chat, or after the presentation is over, you can raise your hand via Zoom and ask questions that way as well. Also, before the presentation starts, everyone's mics should be on mute throughout the presentation, so that there are no distractions for both the audience and the speaker. So I need everyone to make sure that they're muted. Thank you. And with that, I'll leave you to it, Zehra.
Thank you, Zeynep. Now, today we'll first begin with explaining what resolution paper is. Resolution is a document that contains all the issues that the committee is set to address and propose solutions. The ultimate goal of the committee sessions is for delegates to come up with written solutions to the problems they're trying to solve. They've been trying to solve actually for 2 or 3 days, depending on the duration of the conference. You will be discussing and negotiating upon the agenda. And on the last day, you will be working on the resolution paper. And all the speeches, debate, negotiation, and teamwork are all expected to lead you to a resolution, which takes the form of a written paper. Only in this way, all your efforts will mean something. Before starting writing the resolution paper directly, we have a paper called the working paper. In this paper, when you're finished with debating, you can raise a motion to unmoderated caucus to work on working paper. All delegates will take notes of their ideas, like they will write down all their solution ideas, and which they've been discussing throughout the committee. And after that, by using this paper, those ideas will convert it into clauses, which will be used in the resolution paper. So the resolution paper has 4 main parts, which are heading, preambulatory clauses, the operative clauses, and concluding clause, which is also an operative clause. The heading must include 4 pieces of information: the committee name, which you can see on the screen, sponsors, signatories, and the topic. The sponsors are the primary writers of the resolution, who will also be recognized as the leaders in the committee, which will distinguish them from everyone else for their words. And we need at least 2 or 3 sponsors for a resolution, which can be presented to the chair board. Signatories are the delegates who didn't play an important role while writing the paper, but who will be signing the paperwork. Okay. So how are we going to decide if you're a sponsor or signatory? If you write the resolution paper and you want to convince people to adopt that, you are 100% a sponsor. If you helped writing the resolution paper, depending on the amount of help you contributed, you can either be a sponsor or a signatory. You didn't help writing the resolution, but you want it to be adopted. In this case, you are a signatory. If you didn't help, or if you didn't like it and don't want it to be adopted, then you will be voting against. you will be neither a sponsor or nor signatory. So, as I said before, we have two types of clauses in in resolution paper. First, clause means the article, the item in the resolution paper, which defines the duties, rights, and privileges of each member state under the terms specified in the document. First, we have the preambulatory clauses. Preambulatory clauses state all the issues that the committee aims to solve on the agenda. It may state the reasons why the committee is concerned about this topic and underline some past actions of governments and some other non-governmental organizations. And secondly, we have operative clauses. Operative clauses state the solutions that the sponsors of the resolution proposes to resolve the issue. Basically, in preambulatory clauses, you state the problems, and in operative clauses, you solve those problems and take some actions regarding them. The operative clauses should address the issues specifically mentioned in the preambulatory clauses above that. Preambulatory clauses can include past UN resolutions, treaties, or conventions related to that topic, or some national efforts made by the governments and also NGOs, references to the UN Charter and some other international laws, and Secretary General statements. And lastly, general background information or facts about the topic, its significance and its impact. Since in MUN conferences, we are simulating the original committees of the UN, we don't expect you to actually know the UN Charter or the Secretary General statements like all of them, but you will be more focusing on the last part, I mean, the general background information, facts, and past actions, like the information we provided you in your study guides, okay? Operative clauses are used to summarize a policy, something that the member states who are present in the committee will be asked to enforce and implement, like something, a policy. Each clause should focus on a specific aspect, like other than mentioning everything in one clause or like trying to handle an issue at once, you should have one clause per per solution. You can detail your solutions by adding subclauses. They're used to detail the solution mentioned in the main clause. Even you can add sub-subclause to subclauses to detail even more. But if you have a subclause, you cannot just have one subclause. If you add a subclause, you need to add a second subclause. If you add a sub-subclause to a subclause, you must add the second sub-subclause to the subclause. Like, believe me, it's not as hard as it sounds. Writing it is way easier than saying it. For both of the clauses, we have a set of phrases that should be used at the beginning of each clause. Let's
sorry. Can you explain it again, please? I couldn't get like subclause.
Okay.
It was confusing.
Okay, I will show you an example. Okay, I will explain that later in the next page. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
We have some phrases used in the preambulatory phrases, which are which you can see on the left, and on the right we have phrases for operative clauses. You can just take notes of them and bring it to the committee and use them when writing the resolution paper. So let's look at the examples. To write a preambulatory clause, just take a statement that you want to write about, like an issue which must be solved or a specific fact, for example. Then take that statement, combine it with a preambulatory phrase, which I show in the previous page, and make it italic and end that statement with a comma. Pay attention not to include any solutions in this part and just state the problems. You don't need to make it too long. Just try not to include any solution in this part. Let's look at an example. reassuring that the human rights of any human being as manifested in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations and the Geneva Convention will be universally guaranteed and protected. Like this is a reference to a UN law, for example. Or we have acknowledging the progress in taking back Syrian territory from militant terrorist groups like the Islamic State and al-Nusra. These are the examples of perambulatory clauses, which states a problem or a fact, okay? So to write an operative clauses, you just need a solution that you want to include in the draft resolution. Then you will take that solution and combine it with an operative phrase and then number it. But also you must make the operative italic and then end your statement with a semicolon. So these are the subclauses, for example. You have subclause A, you added subclause A. You cannot just add subclause A. You must add a subclause B too. Okay, that's was what I was trying to say in the previous pages. Like if you can add a subclause to explain the subclause A, for example, but if you add a subclause, you must add another subclause too. Like you cannot just have one thing. You must have at least two. Basically, that's what I was trying to say.
Sorry for the interruption. Someone's mic is on. Can everyone check if their mic is on mute?
If I'm not wrong, it's Turkmenistan, and they just muted.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And in operative clauses, try to give answer the WH questions, which are who, what, when, where, why, and how of each resolution. Like you must detail your phrase. You can break them down into sub-clauses underneath the main operative clause. Okay, like answers to those questions can be sub-clauses in the operative part. Is it clear?
Yes.
So we have some key factors. An issue which is not recognized in the preambulatory part cannot be included in operative clauses. Since you state the problems in preambulatory part and you solve the problems in operative clauses, you cannot solve a problem which is not mentioned, for example, actually. So you must first mention the problem in preambulatory part, and then you can add it to operative clauses to solve. The number of operative clauses written must be more than the number of preambulatory clauses. Basically, your solutions must be more than your problems. And an ideal resolution must have at least 5 to 7 preambulatory clauses and 2 sponsors. Technically, the resolution must be called a draft resolution before it's voted upon and then called a resolution after it's successfully passed by the chair board and secretariat. Resolutions are usually written during unmoderated caucuses where delegates are free to roam around the committee to calibrate and talk to another delegates. And resolution writing becomes more focused during the later sessions, like especially on the last day, when different countries' policies are already clear and stated. So you call the parts your committee must address. So this is the time you will start writing your resolution, and you cannot write any clauses, or you cannot prepare your resolution before the committee. All resolution writing thing must be done in the sessions. Pre-written resolutions clauses are not allowed according to the Harvard Rules of Procedure, which is the procedure which we will be following in our conference. Lastly, we have amendments. Amendments are used to modify the draft resolution to strengthen the work. There is strategic tool and an important part of the final stage of the MUN. To amend means making a change. You can change the text of a clause or a subclause. You can add a new clause, or you can remove, you can delete a clause or a subclause. We have two types of amendments. One is friendly amendments. Friendly amendments are a change to the draft resolution that all sponsors agree with. If the amendment is also approved by the chair without any voting procedure, it automatically becomes part of the draft resolution. You don't need voting if chair also approves. And for unfriendly amendments, it is the change that some sponsors of the draft resolution don't support and must be voted first. They're used, once the debate is closed, the committee moves into the format of voting procedure. And before voting the draft resolution, you'll first vote unfriendly amendments. And to submit an unfriendly amendment, we need 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against that amendment to present the amendment to the committee. So when do we use amendments? Amendments can be submitted at any point a draft resolution is recognized but haven't voted upon. Before voting, you can submit your amendments. How? To do this, you first need some other signatories who agree with the amendments and submit it to the chairs via message paper or motions. After it's accepted, you can introduce it to the committee. Once it's introduced into the committee, either a special speaker list or a moderated caucus can be used to discuss upon the amendments. But if it's a friendly amendment, it will be automatically added to the resolution. Here we have an example. Requests to add a new clause 8 to come after clause 7 with the following text. Like you can write it down and send it to your chair board via message paper, and that's okay as an amendment. So after we're done with writing the resolution paper and amending it, your chair will proceed with the voting procedure. We have 6 votes, actually 4 votes. These 2 are not actual votes. Yes or yes with rights, no or no with rights, or pass and abstain. Let's evaluate them one by one. Yes is a substantive vote, which is affirmative. You're positive, you accept you agree upon the resolution. And no as a vote against, you don't agree upon the resolution. If you say yes with rights, it's a substantive vote in the affirmative that allows delegate to explain their vote. You may only declare rights if you are voting against your national policy or if you decide to switch your vote from your declared position during the committee. Like in the resolution paper, you agree with the resolution paper, but in the resolution paper, there are some parts which are against your national policy. So you can say yes with rights and explain those things by delivering a speech. If you say yes with rights, you must deliver a speech. It's the same for no with rights, actually. If you say no with rights, you are supposed to deliver a speech to explain the things which are against your national policy. But if you say no with rights, you don't agree upon the resolution paper, okay? And abstain, which is something we already covered, it means staying silent. But remember, at the beginning of this session, if you say present voting, you have no right to abstain. The delegates who stated their presence by saying present can only abstain. The others are supposed to vote. And last, you can say pass. If you say pass, the chair will continue with the roll call by passing you. And after everybody is finished, he or she will come back to you and ask again. And in this case, you have no right to abstain and you must vote yes or no. Okay, you can use pass to see what other delegates think first, and then you can vote. Now, last but not least, in Model United Nations conferences, resolution papers are much more than just being the signs of a solution-oriented committee. Committees in which delegates cannot accept a resolution paper with majority are considered as failed. Thus, none of the delegates can receive the best, outstanding, or honorable rewards. For 2 or 3 days, you will be discussing, and if you cannot accept a resolution paper at the end, your committee will be considered considered as failed. So you must accept a resolution paper. That's all about the resolution paper. Now we'll keep going with the rules of procedure. First, language. The official language of our conference is English, and delegates must speak English in all types of caucuses and can only write message papers in English. Also, the language that will be used must be formal for sure. However, delegates are free to communicate in any language they prefer during coffee or lunch breaks. In breaks, you are not supposed to speak in English. Since delegates are representing a country and talking about the country's policy, they have to refer to themselves as we, us, rather than I, me. You must use we language, like since you are the representative and not yourself, like you're representing a country, you cannot say I believe, I think, or I would like to. You must say we believe, we think, we would like to, etc. Using singular pronouns like he, she, I. Is out of order in MUN conferences. The only exception for this rule is when delegates represent a person, not a country. For example, in a MOTS committee, our delegates will be representing the presidents and not countries. So in this case, you can refer to yourselves as I or me. Electronic devices. The use of electronic devices that allow communication is not allowed during the official sessions. Like you cannot use your cell phones during the sessions, but you may use your devices for dictionary and translation, and you can state that by sending a message paper to the chairboard. Taking photos, texting, or communicating electronic devices are strictly forbidden within the committee chambers. Computers also can be used in unmoderated caucus when writing the draft resolution paper or working paper. Lastly, we have dress code. In MUN conferences, dress codes are one of the strict rules that delegates have to obey, and it has a great importance as per the nature of MUN. In Mes MUN 22, delegates are required to dress in formal attire. Casual clothes such as t-shirts or jeans are forbidden at the conference. Also, short-sleeved or low-cut shirts and skirts, which are not long enough to cover knees, are not allowed. Male delegates must wear a suit and should keep their jackets on throughout the sessions. Ties and bow ties are appreciated, but not required. Female delegates can wear pants or skirts with a formal shirt, but delegates who will wear a dress or skirt must wear a skirt underneath. Wearing jacket is highly appreciated as well for the female participants. And delegates may also wear the traditional attire of the country they're representing, not the country they're coming from, but the country they're representing, okay? And to explain that better, male delegates can wear suits, and for female delegates, formal shirts and pants, dresses, skirts, which cover knees with a hosiery for female delegates, as I said. And the things you must not wear, informal clothes like t-shirts, jeans, figure-hugging, see-through fabrics, and sleeveless shirts and dresses. If you're wearing a sleeveless shirt, please wear a cardigan or blazer on top. That was all about the resolution paper and rules of procedure and for today's session. Now, if you have any questions, I can try my best to answer. Do we have any?
There are no questions in the chat, so anyone who has a question, please raise your hand via the Zoom so that we can see your question. Yes, delegate of Australia from SOCM.
What should we wear for shoes? High heels, like, or
It's up to you.
flats?
We don't have a specific rule for shoes. Am I right, Zeynep?
Yeah, it's more of a up to you, I mean. And Zümra Akgümüş.
I want to ask something about tomorrow's session. Like, Do we need to be prepared or something? Actually, I don't know anything about.
I mean, you're an observer, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
I'm
I
right,
don't have a
observers.
country or something.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Like I don't have a country or something. I'm just here for the training part.
Yeah, I think you can answer this, Sarah. I'm not very well versed in this.
The observers can join tomorrow's session to observe, actually. Since you won't be taking part in the face-to-face conferences, you don't have you are not assigned to any committee, or you don't have any country to represent. So you can just join and observe, and maybe you can join next year. Okay.
Okay, okay, I understand. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And the delegate of Italy from SOCOM.
In WhatsApp group, it was written that we should study, prepare for something, and how can we prepare for GSL? I couldn't understand it.
In tomorrow's session, you will first deliver an opening speech, and then you will be delivering general speakers list probably. Actually, that's in your chair's supervision. They might explain in WhatsApp group. Like you can raise a few motions maybe, and that's about your agenda. Actually, you should read your study guides and prepare a speech about like an introduction to your topic. Your general speakers, your speech for GSL can be like an introduction to the topic, to the agenda. Is it clear?
Thank you. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
And the representative of EU, do you have a question?
Yes, I will be asking something about tomorrow. Like there's a mock debate. Is it an obligation to attend mock debate as an observer? And after that, there is academic panel for mods committee. So if you are not attending mock debate, I don't know it's an obligation or not. How they will be separate, right? So how we should know when it starts academic panel. Thank you.
Both of them starts at 9 p.m. We don't have any mock debate for MOTS committee. We'll have mock debates for UNST, SOCOM, and DISAC committees. And for MOTS committee, we'll have academic panel at 9 p.m. Like it's not going to be starting after the mock debate.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes, Turkmenistan.
I was gonna ask, as a mods committee, we didn't get a study guide. So what are we supposed to write on the position paper or opening speech according to what, as long as we don't have the study guide?
Your study guides will be published later on. For now, you're not expected to prepare for any kind of opening speech or position paper. After your study guides published, then you can prepare yours. You can start preparing for the committee.
Okay, thanks.
Pleasure.
Any other questions? Yes, delegate of South Africa from SOCOM.
I actually didn't understand what we about prepare for tomorrow.
You must first prepare an opening speech, which is something that I covered in yesterday's session. You can maybe rewatch it. like we'll start having a session in the committee. The mock debate means that like we'll have an official session tomorrow, and you must prepare an opening speech, and then your committee will probably proceed with GSL. And for GSL, you can talk about anything you want regarding the agenda by using your study guides. You must prepare 1 minute length speech for your GSL regarding the agenda by using your study guides. Like, it's not something specific. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you.
You can ask your chair for clarification about tomorrow's session, actually, in WhatsApp groups.
Yeah. The delegate of Russia from SOCOM.
Well, I was wondering whether today's recording is getting it. Because the first part I couldn't get it clear, so I would love to go through it later.
Could you repeat your question? I didn't understand.
Okay, sorry. Well, I was wondering whether the recording today is going to be shared in the group later.
Hopefully today, but in case there is a technical issue again, tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. I have one question on chat. Ecrin Kurtuluş, can you ask it verbally, like by opening your mic? If we fail our writings, can we join again? What do you mean by writings? Ecrin Kurtuluş, can you hear me?
I guess she could.
Okay, can you ask your question again?
I guess she quitted, actually. Her name showed in the upper side like quitted.
Okay, then. Do we have any other questions?
Any other questions?
Seem none.
Yeah. So thank you again, Zehra, for your speech. And before we go, tomorrow at 9, I want to reiterate this. All committees except MOTS will be having a mock debate session, and MOTS will be having an academic panel. So your participation tomorrow is especially important because this is the only practice session that we're going to have until the actual conference. So you'll get a bit of exercise. And see you tomorrow.
See you, everybody.
See you.